Beat insulin resistance once and for all, doctor explains. Are you struggling to beat insulin resistance and wondering why you're constantly tired, craving sugar, and gaining weight around your belly? Here's the scary part. Most people have insulin resistance for years before they even know it exists. This silent condition affects over 88 million Americans and leads directly to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's. Your cells are literally ignoring insulin signals, leaving sugar trapped in your bloodstream instead of being used for energy. But here's the good news. You can beat insulin resistance once and for all with the right approach. Today, I'm breaking down exactly how to reverse insulin resistance using strategies backed by medical science. Stick around until the end, because I'll reveal the #1 mistake that keeps people insulin resistant even when they think they are doing everything right. Here's what most people do not understand about beating insulin resistance once and for all through diet. The first and most critical strategy involves changing what and when you eat to dramatically lower your insulin levels throughout the day. Research from the University of California shows that dietary modification is more effective than medication for reversing early insulin resistance, with participants seeing improvements in insulin sensitivity within just 2 to 4 weeks of implementing specific changes. The mechanism involves eliminating or drastically reducing refined carbohydrates and added sugars that spike insulin levels. Studies reveal that foods like white bread, pasta, rice, sugary drinks, and processed snacks cause massive insulin surges that keep your cells constantly bathed in high insulin. This perpetual insulin exposure is what maintains and worsens insulin resistance over time. Think about what happens every time you eat a high-carb meal or snack. Your blood sugar shoots up, your pancreas floods your system with insulin, and your already resistant cells struggle to respond appropriately. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrates that people who reduced their refined carbohydrate intake by 50% or more showed dramatic improvements in insulin sensitivity markers within 8 weeks. Here's the remarkable part about dietary intervention for insulin resistance. You need to focus on whole, unprocessed foods that don't spike blood sugar and insulin dramatically. Studies show that diets emphasizing lean proteins, healthy fats, non-starchy vegetables, and limited amounts of complex carbohydrates produce the best results for reversing insulin resistance. Research from multiple institutions found that increasing protein intake to 25 to 30% of total calories while reducing refined carbs improved insulin sensitivity substantially. Protein stabilizes blood sugar, increases satiety, so you eat less overall, and doesn't trigger the massive insulin spikes that carbohydrates do. Good protein sources include fish, chicken, eggs, Greek yogurt, and legumes. The timing of your meals matters almost as much as what you eat. Research shows that eating 3 balanced meals without snacking gives your insulin levels time to drop between meals, allowing your cells to become more sensitive again. Constant snacking keeps insulin perpetually elevated, maintaining insulin resistance even if you're eating healthy foods. Before we move on, I'd love to know where you're watching from. If this content is helping you understand insulin resistance better, type "great" in the comments or "improve" if it doesn't. And if you're serious about reversing insulin resistance naturally, make sure to subscribe to Knowhow and turn on notifications. The second powerful strategy involves using specific types of exercise to directly improve how your cells respond to insulin. Research from the Mayo Clinic demonstrates that exercise is one of the most effective interventions for reversing insulin resistance, with benefits appearing after just a single workout session and becoming more pronounced with consistent training. The mechanism involves muscle contractions during exercise, activating glucose transporters in muscle cells through pathways that don't require insulin. Studies reveal that exercise essentially bypasses insulin resistance by pulling glucose into muscle cells through alternative mechanisms. This immediately lowers blood sugar while also making cells more sensitive to insulin for 24 to 48 hours after your workout. Think about how powerful this is for overcoming insulin resistance. Even if your cells are highly insulin resistant, exercise forces them to take up glucose anyway. Research from the Journal of Applied Physiology shows that a single 45-minute exercise session improved insulin sensitivity by up to 51%, with effects lasting 2 full days. The type of exercise matters significantly for insulin resistance. Studies demonstrate that resistance training or strength training is particularly effective because building muscle mass creates more metabolically active tissue that readily absorbs glucose. Research found that people who did resistance training 3 times weekly for 12 weeks improved their insulin sensitivity by 25% while also losing visceral fat. If you're finding this helpful, please take a moment to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps this video reach other people who might not know these doctor-backed strategies for beating insulin resistance once and for all. The third critical strategy involves optimizing your sleep quality and managing chronic stress, two factors that profoundly impact insulin sensitivity yet are often overlooked. Research from the University of Chicago demonstrates that inadequate sleep dramatically worsens insulin resistance, with just 1 week of poor sleep reducing insulin sensitivity by up to 30%. The mechanism involves sleep deprivation disrupting multiple hormones that regulate blood sugar and insulin function. Studies show that poor sleep increases cortisol and growth hormone levels while decreasing leptin, the hormone that signals fullness. This hormonal chaos impairs your cell's ability to respond to insulin, while simultaneously increasing appetite and cravings for high-carb foods. Think about how this creates a vicious cycle for insulin resistance. When you're sleep-deprived, your body craves quick energy from sugar and refined carbs. You eat more of these insulin-spiking foods, and your cells become even more insulin-resistant. Research demonstrates that people who regularly sleep less than 6 hours per night have significantly higher rates of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes compared to those getting 7 to 9 hours. The solution is prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night. Studies show that improving sleep duration and quality can restore insulin sensitivity within just a few days. Create a consistent sleep schedule. Keep your bedroom cool and completely dark. Avoid screens for at least an hour before bed, and consider supplements like magnesium that support sleep quality. Chronic stress is equally damaging to insulin sensitivity. Research reveals that elevated cortisol from ongoing stress directly causes insulin resistance by interfering with insulin signaling pathways in cells. Stress management techniques proven to improve insulin sensitivity include meditation, deep breathing exercises, yoga, spending time in nature, and engaging in hobbies you enjoy. Research shows that just 15 minutes of daily meditation or deep breathing can lower cortisol levels and improve metabolic markers, including insulin sensitivity, within 4 weeks. The biggest mistake preventing people from beating insulin resistance is trying to out-exercise a bad diet or thinking they can reverse insulin resistance while still eating frequent high-carb meals and snacks. Here's the critical truth that many people miss. You cannot exercise your way out of insulin resistance if you're constantly spiking your insulin with poor food choices throughout the day. The mechanism involves the simple fact that diet has a much larger impact on insulin levels than exercise does. Research shows that a single high-carb meal can spike insulin to levels that take hours to come down. And if you're eating this way multiple times per day, your insulin never gets low enough for your cells to regain sensitivity. Think about the math here. You might burn 300 to 500 calories during an intense workout, but if you're eating 2,000 to 3,000 calories of insulin-spiking foods daily, the exercise can't compensate for the metabolic damage. Research from the Diabetes Prevention Program found that dietary changes alone were more effective at preventing diabetes than exercise alone, though combining both approaches produced the best results. The solution is understanding that beating insulin resistance requires addressing diet as the foundation, then adding exercise, sleep optimization, and stress management to amplify the benefits. Studies show that people who made comprehensive lifestyle changes addressing all these factors together had the highest success rates for completely reversing insulin resistance within 6 months. If this video helped you understand how to beat insulin resistance once and for all with doctor-backed strategies that actually work, please share it with someone who could benefit from this life-changing information. Make sure to subscribe to Knowhow for more evidence-based health content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss videos that could transform your metabolic health naturally. Thanks for watching and trusting me to explain how you can reverse insulin resistance completely. I'll see you in the next video.